As we enter the final weeks before the 2015 Rugby World Cup, we bring you a very special view of what it's like to win rugby's most glittering prize, starting with the inaugural event in 1987.
Welcome here to Eden Park, a very heady atmosphere. The crowd is jammed with nearly 50,000 people, and we're about to see these two grand sides lock horns in a do-or-die struggle.
If nervousness is pressure, yeah, we felt it. I don't recall it being pressure. I felt excitement. This is what we're trained for. What we'd worked through the pool play, through the quarter and the semi. This is what we fought for. Now we're on the stage we want to be on. Let's enjoy it.
My lingering moment will be when we went to go out to get on the bus to go to the game. There was probably somewhere like 500 or 600, maybe even more people just cheering the guys onto the bus, and I knew then that it was going to take a hell of an effort from France to beat us.
The bus trip here, as you got close to the park, the streets were lined with people. It was pandemonium. I mean, we'd not seen anything like it. And to be honest, I was dry reaching in the bus because the enormity of the occasion sort of dawned on us. I felt, when we got to the dressing room, I relaxed. As I walked down the field before the game, I felt calm. It was actually getting through the cordon outside that was the challenge.
The thing that was slightly different in the final was that we really knew that this was it. We probably had one opportunity in our playing careers to be world champions, and we either took it or we didn't. So there was a sense of destiny. Will you grasp your destiny? And a sense of this was it. This was the big moment.
In the build-up to the game, we spent 2 hours together, but it proved a costly mistake as it made us too emotional. We thought of our family, our friends, but it was all too overpowering. It was nice, but we should have got all those thoughts and feelings out of the way on the Thursday or Friday. That would have brought us a lot of strength. But just before the game, we lost our energy to our emotions.
I do think there were extra pressures because you're immersed in the culture. You can't go anywhere, you can't do anything without New Zealanders looking at you and saying, don't let us down. They mightn't say it, but that's what they're thinking, and that's what the team certainly felt. That the whole nation was saying, don't let us down, you know, you've got to win, it means so much to us. So that was a bit more pressure, but on the other hand, being at home and having a routine, having a rhythm, having playing conditions that we are very familiar with was also a big advantage.
The prevailing winds out now, which is a southwest, are not as, doesn't have the effect now it used to because the stand configuration is very different, but it sort of used to blow to this corner down here, so, and we place kicked off, and the most likely thing I did is kick long to a corner, try and make France kick it out, not very far up the touchline.
The World Cup final is underway.
We nicked a line out off their throw, and Kirk threw me the ball, and just it popped into my head at the time, oh, I'll have a pot. And it was a pretty ugly attempt. I hit it fat and dragged it a bit, but it deflected off one of the French Lucies, I think it was, and spewed behind their back line over to the other side of the goalpost. And the rugby ball was sort of, as it does, because it's a funny shape, didn't bounce kindly for the French, and AJ Whitten got there first, but it ran away from him, and Michael Jones was there next, and he picked it up and scored the first try of the final just over by the post.
I remember at half-time it was all about, in those days, coaches weren't allowed to come on the field, so it was the captain and senior players talking. The whole nature of what we were talking about, let's just do the work. Let's focus on the basics, let's do the work, let's grind it out. It's tough, but at the end of it, we'll win. It was nothing about, you know, play with flair. It was do the work, let's do the set pieces, let's not make mistakes, let's play down the right end of the field. It was like any old game. We were working very hard in that second half to get properly on top. And we called a very odd line-out call. We moved Michael Jones up in the line-out, and Michael wasn't the tallest because he normally played off the back. So we moved him in front of Alan Whitten. So we moved Michael Jones, who was the smallest loose forward, against a taller man to the second to back in the line-out, and then threw the ball to him. And he won, because he had such wonderful spring, he won the ball anyway. And from that, we went the blind side and set up a ruck, and Michael was there to take the pass, and he passed it back inside to me, and we scored. So in some ways, calling that different line out just for a variety resulted in the try. That's the only thing I can think of that was any different from the relentless kind of decision making we normally took.
And that surely is the try that clinches the Webb Ellis Cup for New Zealand.
On a essayé de reproduire la même semaine que la demi-finale, et je crois que c'est là qu'on a fait.
We tried to reproduce the same game as in the semi-final, and I think that was our biggest mistake, because it was a different game.
à la pression.
At that point, we became too aware of the outside pressures, and there was too much emotion.
Mon épouse était enceinte, donc
I remember when I left France, my wife was pregnant, and I was feeling a bit guilty. I think we were too loaded with emotions and not concentrating enough on the match itself. We weren't prepared enough. Even though I played quite well in my duel with John Kerwin, I don't think I was ready to win a final.
Mais j'étais pas prêt à gagner une finale.
The biggest thing that sticks out in my mind is when David Kirk scored his try, and then straight after that John Kerwin scored his. We knew we'd won the World Cup. And so then goes straight away, the boy says, we've got it, let's just hold them out, and then the cup's ours. They came back and scored a try in the last couple of minutes, I think, by Bizier, and we knew we'd won the World Cup, 20 minutes before the final whistle. All we had to do was just keep playing the football we were playing, and we'd won the World Cup. But those two tries, they stick in my head, and just the execution of them, was just amazing. Just bang, bang, a couple of tackles. They missed tackles on David. They took Kirky down on in one tackle and then threw it out to JK. I threw the ball out to JK. He ran all the way to the line, guys falling off him. And it was just magical to be in those areas during that part of the game.